Alright folks, time to do my predictions for UFC 186 Johnson versus Horiguchi, which is not exactly a show that I'm all that excited about, but you know what, I've been on such a horrible cold streak with making UFC predictions all year round that I need to get at least one decent card under my belt before we get into all the really high profile marquee cards coming up, beginning with the Memorial Day show and John Jones against Anthony Johnson. So anyway, Johnson versus Horiguchi. Let's take a look at the lineup here. It doesn't look like it's a show really worth spending $59.99 on, but you know what? I'm going to make my picks anyway. Alright, main event. Longtime flyweight champion Demetrius Johnson, who I believe has held the belt since, oh goodness, what is it, 2012 now? So a couple of years, 3 years going on. Taking on Kyoji Horiguchi, who's probably the most entertaining fighter we have in the men's flyweight division. Very good striking. He's one of the last of the old school Japanese fighters. Dude that goes a mile a minute. Very technically proficient. Lots of striking. Decent submissions. Against a guy who has really been sort of famed for his reserved strategy. Now, the thing about Demetrius Johnson is, and we've seen this before, he can indeed knock dudes out. It's really unlikely, but it has happened before. We've seen it. It was hilarious. Against Horiguchi, who is obviously the better striker. Johnson, though, you see this happen all the time. He's just a better overall fighter, better wrestler. He's a better championship fighter. He can go 5 rounds. I'm not really sure if Horiguchi actually has enough in his gas tank to make it that long. But you know what? Like I've been saying at the beginning of this video, this year has just been so unpredictable. It's really next to impossible to really kind of go in here and say for sure that Demetrius Johnson can win this fight because, you know what? It seemed like Anthony Pettis was going to be a lock against Rafael dos Anjos, and look what happened. So, looking at this fight, I always do this. I play it conservatively. With Horiguchi, I'm not really sure what I'm getting exactly. But with Johnson, I do know what kind of fight to expect. And I think ultimately, Johnson, because he really hasn't been tested since he fought, Dominic Cruz, I think was the last time Demetrius Johnson lost a fight in the UFC. Wow, go back to that. It was like 2011. Oh, goodness. Or even earlier, perhaps. No, wait, no. It had to have been 2011. But I don't know. I think Johnson's going to go in there. He's going to make it his kind of fights. He's going to keep the tempo low. And I think ultimately he wins by decision. Unanimous. Not exactly the most terribly exciting way to win a fight. But then again, this is not the most terribly exciting card either. Co-main event, CB Dalloway taking on Michael Bisping. Michael Bisping is a dude who just can't win the big one. We've seen that year in, year out. CB Dalloway, pretty solid fighter, but really nothing more than a gatekeeper. I'm going to go with CB Dalloway. I think he wins by 3rd round TKO, because you got to have some most mildly exciting on the show. Light heavyweight matchup, Fabio Maldonado taking on Steve Bossy. Now, this is a very interesting matchup because Fabio Maldonado, and this is the guy who's probably best known for fighting like a corpse against Glover Teixeira in that amazing fight we had a couple of years back where I'm convinced Fabio actually did die in the first round. And he just fought brain dead for 10 more minutes in that incredible matchup. Well, anyway, his original opponent was Quentin Rampage Jackson, but obviously there's been some legal issues there. So since this is a show in Montreal, you know what? Why not break out some no-name hockey goon to come out and fight Maldonado in a freak show? It's kind of funny that you have all these guys that are really upset about CM Punk getting a fight in the UFC. But with a matchup like this, nobody's really saying anything. Well, of course, Bossy actually does have a couple of professional fights under his belt, and I think he actually did pretty well. At one point, he actually was signed up to actually make an appearance in the UFC before he actually retired unceremoniously. But, Fabio Maldonado, I've got him winning. 1st round, knockout. Steve Bossy might be a bad dude on the ice, but you know what? That's Like not even NHL level hockey. That's like AAA hockey fighting versus professional mixed martial arts UFC quality light heavyweight fighting. Maldonado cannot lose this fight. It's my lock of the show. Put your down payment on it. Bet the house. College tuition. Give this fight to Maldonado. We got a catchweight fight. John McDossie taking on Shane Campbell. Okay, I know who John McDossie. Who is Shane Campbell? Let's use the magic of the Wikipedia to figure this out. He's a Muay Thai kickboxer. Okay, well, according to this unbiased mixed martial arts profile here, he's one of the best middleweight kickboxers in North America. So I'm doing my research here, guys. This is all new to me. His kickboxing record, I mean, lots of green there. He wins fights. Lost his last one, though, by decision. I've seen the word liver kick show up here, so I'm quite happy. Mixed martial arts record? Oh, wow, he's not bad. Fighting guys nobody's ever heard of before. Okay, well, he's a real fighter, but traditionally guys who are really good at kickboxing in the modern era have not done quite all that well in an Ultimate Fighting Championship. Stephen Thompson, probably the ultimate example. That really bad dude from South Carolina who has awesome head kicks, but just couldn't put it all together and be a complete fighter. I'm going to go with McDossie, second round, ground and pound stoppage. Bantamweight matchup, V's Jabin taking on Thomas Almeida. Probably going to be a competitive matchup, but what's the point of having a competitive matchup when you don't really care about either fighter? I'm going to go with Jabin, Eves Jabin, whatever. I'm taking him. Decision. Okay, in the preliminary card, just run down everything. Oh man, how about this? This is all shades of 2005 up in here. Patrick Cote taking on Joe Riggs in the year of our Lord 2015. Oh man, that's crazy. I'm gonna go with Patrick Cote because Joe Riggs is really just like one loss away from having to sell tires for a living. Cote, second round, knockout. Women's bantamweight matchup, Alexis Davis versus Sarah Kaufman, which actually sounds like it's probably the best overall matchup in the entire show, and it's on Fox Sports 1, which doesn't much care about women's fighting when one of the people fighting is named Ronda Rousey. Well, anyway, I'm going to go with Kaufman, second round stoppage. Lightweight matchup, Chad Laprise taking on Brian Barberina. You know, if you don't have a Wikipedia page, it's an unwritten rule. You can't win a fight, so I'm going to go with Laprise. Another lightweight matchup, David Michaud against Olivier Albin Mercier. You know what? They're French. I don't care. Just give it to Michaud. That's another unwritten rule of UFC. Whoever has a shorter name wins. It's a policy I just invented on the fly. And for the UFC Fight Pass matchups, we got Nordine Talib taking on Chris Clements. Chris Clements probably going to be his last fight in the UFC for a while, so of course Talib wins by stoppage. Strawweight, Jessica Racaza taking on Valero Letourneau. Hopefully not related to Mary Kay Letourneau, but I don't know. I'm going to go with Racaza just because she has a Wikipedia page, therefore she wins. And another women's strawweight matchup. Eileen Daly taking on Randa Marcos. Don't know who either of these people are, but since Daly has the Wikipedia page, she wins. So there you go. Those are my picks for UFC 186, a show I have absolutely no interest in watching, and you're probably not going to watch it either. But those are my picks, and I'll stick with them. Maybe.